All right, we're recording.
All
Okay.
right.
Welcome back, everyone. Day 5 of 5. We made
Yay!
it. Awesome. So, do we want to review the poem first?
We do. Yes, and I could have been more prepared by having it already up, but
Oh, we were only like sitting here for 10 minutes, Jeff. Come on.
I know.
Come on.
Really solid work on my part as a moderator here.
Welcome, Gigi, our poet, our
Hello,
inspirational poet.
the poet.
Glad to have you here.
I'm inspired to be here.
Excellent.
All
You
right.
inspired us all to come back today, so
Right?
good.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna share the video that Gigi shared with us all yesterday. Take a look. Oh, wait, stop.
Thought you were prepared, Jeff.
I was prepared, but then I wasn't.
Okay, cool.
All right. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. So glad you've decided to take a look at the 5-day Make Art Challenge. Thanks to Arts Hub for putting that together. It's pretty rad. So I just released my book. This is my book, Big Feelings. It's got a lot of feelings in it, and they're pretty big. Yeah, my book is out with the indie press Game Over Books. Much like everybody else on the whole planet, I had a lot of shit planned and was supposed to go on a tour and do all this stuff before the virus did what it did. So, yeah, I was pretty stressed about that and was like, why does this have to happen right now? Well, what the heck? But what I realized is that this was actually the perfect time for the book to come out because this little book is about all the times that my world has ended, and it is the roadmap out that I wrote for myself. It is kind of a chart of my very specific survival. And upon figuring that out, I also realized the last poem in the book is literally about the apocalypse. So when you're making stuff, something to think about is just the ways in which your world has ended, whether that's a global pandemic or running out of coffee creamer or finding out that you're not going to graduate or being in a really bad relationship or being broke or whatever it is, the very specific ways that your world has ended and the undoing of that, what it looks like to uh, just kind of say fuck that shit and how you decide to create a turning point in which you move forward. So I thought it was fitting too because this poem is actually after another poem by another poet, and we're creating work after each other. So this poem is after a poem by Ada Limon, and it is called Burn It All. Say I can't pay rent, or electricity, or water, or phone bill. Say I never stop getting fired. Say I never find the exact right place at the exact right time. Say they won't neuter my cat because I make $1 too much. Say I eat a lot of tuna. Say I've been burned out for the last 4 years. How can I still be burning? Say they turned my high school home into a very important gas station. Say when will they gentrify the mountains? Say I do not know how to do my taxes. Say I am still sad tomorrow. Say I cannot hold it down with iced coffee. Say I eat gummy bears for dinner. Say you leave. Say I leave to see if it'll make me feel less alone. Say all I do is leave, or at least that's what it feels like. Say I do not know how to person. Say alone is not on my resume. Say I always get fired from it too. Collect unemployment. Say I don't make it after all. Say I am not all the things I thought I'd be. Say somehow it'll all be okay. Say fuck it. Say we roll around in the grass. Say we stare down everything that will kill us. Say we post it on Instagram and make out. Take a very sexy bath and all the bills we didn't pay. Recreate that scene from Pretty Woman. Say we run and run and run. Say we stop. Watch it all burning. The prettiest sunset. Say we have a picnic. Watch the sky go down. Watch it all go down. Thank you. Have fun making stuff.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Gigi, for sharing that. Do you want to say anything else about it? Oh, sorry. My computer's kept playing. It's really distracting to me. All right.
It looks like nothing to us. It just looks like you went crazy there.
Oh, God.
Oh, I know.
Uh, so yeah. Did you want to more about that or about your collection, Big Feelings?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for letting me be a part of this. I do think that I was really worried with the book coming out that like what a thing to be upstaged by, right? Fucking global pandemic. But no, I just like I had made all these plans for myself and was like, I'm gonna do button poetry, I'm gonna go read at George R. R. Martin's bookstore, I'm gonna go do all this stuff, and like it all worked out and I had all these contracts, and then it just like totally completely crashed and burned. And I think that the very best thing for this book in this time right now is um, for it to be surrounded by other artists who get it, who have all like worked really hard to have a thing maybe not go all the way that they planned. Um, and yeah, I've been finding that the best life for the book to live is really in spaces like this with other people who are also trying to create through a lot of hurt, and through a lot of loss and just fear and all that fun, ugly stuff. Um, so I'm really, really happy that this was going on. And yeah, the book is also really finds its home with artists because it is about big feelings. And this concept for me is just like the idea that we're all people who live our lives really fully and we feel everything and we fall hard and fast, and that also means that we hurt really big and that the happy is big and the depression and the anxiety and all of it is all really really big, which it's bizarre because this pandemic happened and then suddenly everybody around me didn't have a choice but to be that way, you know. um, Everything is big feelings right now because it's all turned up to like 97. So it's actually the perfect time, like I said in the video. And yeah, I'm just really happy that y'all wanted to hear a poem from it. And if you want to check it out further, it's out now. Um, it's available through Game Over Books on their website or on my website. You can also pick it up through Bookworks or through other indie bookstores, since it is, I think Jeff posted the SPD link. It's on small press distribution. So that helps keep small presses in business when you buy it through them and order it through them. And yeah, I'm just really stoked for people to have it in their hands and to care about it even a little bit. So thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us. Yeah, it definitely is a great poem for this moment in particular. Especially kind of, I feel like, yeah, we watch society kind of go through that arc that the poem kind of goes, and I feel like people, for good or bad, are in the, if we just said fuck it, kind of space right now, and kind of waiting to see what happens. So yeah, so I really think that's apt that it's a very appropriate for the time. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I mentioned this. The first page of the book is the thank yous. And in the thank yous, I just wrote that I actually submitted the manuscript when I was homeless. I was displaced from my family home. And I was sitting at a Dunkin' Donuts at the Dunkin' Donuts on Central and just feeling really bad about myself. And that was the last poem that I wrote, was that poem, because they were going to put my cat in the pound, and like I was just feeling a million things. But it's wild, yeah, like being Latina and being low income and a million other things, like there are so many different things that can make it feel like your world is always ending, you know, and there are some people who are feeling that for the first time with this pandemic. So it's weird to like be an expert on that in a way. It's unfortunate, but I'm glad that people who are going through this for the first time will have this book. I'm glad that they'll know that they're not alone in it.
Nice. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's look at some of the stuff that was created and inspired. All right. The first thing that comes up, we got why isn't that showing up? There's a thing I can share. Aha. All right, we got some stuff from Dallas. So, Corona Man, is that what you titled it?
Yeah, I was gonna go to Burning Man this year.
Hmm.
Burning Man got canceled, so I wrote a poem about it.
Very cool. Well, up to you. Do you want us to read it, or like just silently, or do you want to read it to us?
I can read it if you.
Yeah.
I'll read it real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be awesome.
Can you paint me a Burning Man? Make it look just the way I plan. In Nevada, Black Rock City, an event that I will never see. I lost my grandpa and my best friend too. One died and one couldn't tell the truth. But quarantined, what really can I say? We all needed a break eventually. Some have never dealt with loneliness. Some are stuck with others until they're sick. Is it a virus or is it just a scam? No one can paint me a Burning Man. Workers are working just because we can, because we need to feel the need to feel alive again, because we realize how quickly we can die, because it's really maybe a lie. People keep starving on a crystal coast where rich men round a fire make a toast. So what's it matter anyway? What do you think constitutes a day? Is it pay, play, drinking the night away? Wake up in the morning to ask, is a predictable future already the past? Instead, make art as if you can still take me to Burning Man.
Very
Nice.
cool. Oh,
Awesome.
wait, is this yours too? This video?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was inspired by Bob because he said that he made a hyperlapse. So I was like, I'm gonna try a hyperlapse video too. And this was my first rough sketch of this. I don't
Very
know.
cool. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
And no sound, FYI. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So, well, very cool. I love that image.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. In Dallas, you did so many mediums of things this week.
I told you
Poetry
I
and
bounce around a
dance.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
That's very cool. So what about, was it going to be your first time to Burning Man?
Yes,
Yes.
it was. I used to manage a coffee shop where this bus of Burning Man people broke down and they were stuck there for a while, and I was very inspired by them. So this was the year I was gonna go, and I saved up like almost entirely for this trip, and it was like completely canceled, and it devastated me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I didn't get to go to Burning Man, but I'm glad you made some art from the potential experience in response to another piece of art.
I enjoyed the poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. All right. Next, as I scroll up, We got Connie's piece. Connie, you want to talk a little bit about this?
Oh, yeah, it's a flame, or at least the colors may be represented in a flame, and it's an odd piece of paper that I have. Actually, I have several of them, but anyway, it's the other day I thought, oh, I'm perfectly happy not going to secondhand stores anymore. This is great. I won't get any more stuff. And then I found the paper and I thought, oh, this is a secondhand store. I've got to get back and find something else wonderful. But instead I just sat down and made my art. So it's a flame, a little poem that goes with it. And I kind of think it sort of talks to Gigi's say another thread. If a fire can weave poetry, if smoke can weave stories, if heat can weave art, I won't melt down. And I think that's part of what the stay at home has been for me. It's so many things for so many different people. And on my level, I guess it's kind of low, economic and emotional, but not, not super serious. But it has been a time to sort of reevaluate things and to, I think, work through some of the loneliness and the angst a little bit through art. So I liked her poem and her talking about the way out of her world ending. Well, how do we do that? Maybe it is by making art.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that. I love the that at least these first two pieces kind of took that fire imagery and really ran with it.
Yeah.
I literally was looking at pieces coming up, like every time I get a notification, I'd be like, who made stuff? And then I'd look and I was like, what is this about fire? And then I was like, oh my God, I need a minute.
That's very cool. Yeah, I think there's something about that. I think like the fire imagery that stuck with me too in the poem and these pieces, because fire is both destructive and restorative in a lot of ways. So I think there's something interesting in there, in particular to the time we live in. So very cool. Thank you for sharing, Connie.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Next. Got Josh's song. All right, we'll share. Let's see. Again, another fire inspired kind of thing. It seems like, I'm guessing by the name.
Good guess. Good guess.
All right, let's take a listen.
You see the world around you now. Everyone is so high strung. So say the words they won't allow. They're leaping off your tongue. So say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. Say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. You can see what's on the street. You're looking down from high above. It's written in the concrete. So give those words a shot. And say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. You say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. You burn it down. You burn it down. You burn it down. You burn it down. Say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. You see the world around you now. Everyone is so high strung. Say the words they won't allow. They're leaping off your tongue. So say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. Say it, say it, say it, say it, burn it down. Yeah, 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 burn it down.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
so that was that chorus kind of just popped into my head while listening to Gigi read the poem because of all the say I this, say I that, say this happens. So yeah, just listening to the poem yesterday, that was already in my head, and I was like, okay, now I need to make like a thing around it, which was the harder part, but.
That's very cool. I love that was one of the things that really struck me about Gigi's poem too is the repetition of say and how it changes meaning throughout, even though it's the same exact word. So that's cool that you jumped on that and made a song.
I think it's interesting too, like the way that say functions within the poem is like always to ask a question, and to say it makes it more of like a statement or a demand. Like you're not asking anybody, you're just doing it, which goes like it's like the choice is made here. It's almost like the answer to the question that the poem poses, which I think is really cool. And it made me dance.
Yeah, it was also hard with this in particular in trying to write my own lyrics. I didn't want to go back to the poem too much, because then it'd just be like too much want to go a certain direction that the poem went. So I just went with that initial instinct to respond to it.
Very cool.
I like the line that people are so high strung now. It's just it's just so right.
I think that goes to a lot with Gigi saying with a lot of people haven't experienced this kind of thing before, and not only is it a moment in time that makes you high strung no matter what, but if you've never experienced this kind of circumstance in your life, it probably it makes it even more so.
Right.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing, Josh.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one. Some charcoal drawings.
Actually, no, they're watercolor pencil drawings.
Wow.
So I started off with some sketches, and then I put them together for something grand. And the grand sketch became a little busy, but I still think it's fun. I can still read everything with the busyness. I was going to put the windows on fire, but I figured I had enough going on anyway. my COVID germs in the back on the sky kind of look like cactuses. And then the one thing I did like about it is the plague doctor being smaller than Jesus Christ and in front of him. I kind of pushed the space a little bit. I thought that was kind of cool. And when I do a big drawing like this, I always think, well, how would this look on like a real big canvas? You know what I mean? Usually if I do a big canvas, like the biggest size I usually do is like 36 by 48. And I'll do a 18 by 24 sketch to get myself ready for that grand format, because I usually when I'm drawing just kind of work in my hardbound sketchbooks. But yeah, so I think I was inspired by what was said before the poem about things kind of changing and kind of an apocalyptic a view, and things in such a strange place in the world. I honestly think it's a push and pull of certain forces. I mean, kind of the light and dark forces. You've got Mr. Death on his Batmobile in the center there, and you got kind of a Christ doing some kind of weird voodoo to the plague doctor. I don't know. Then I've got kind of a weird self-portrait that doesn't even really look like me, but it started off to be a self-portrait with kind of like doctors coming out of my head. I don't know. So it just became very strange, subconscious kind of drawing. I heard it was Ralph Steadman's birthday today, and I don't know if you know who Ralph Steadman was, but he was a big influence on me growing up with Ralph Steadman and R. Crumb and that whole gamut of illustrators as a young person, because as a young kid I just loved to draw. So I would always be drawing, like I had mentioned before. So I kind of did a painting the last couple of prompts. I figured, well, I'll go easy on myself and do a drawing and see what happens. So anyway, that was my morning of drawing.
Wow.
But yeah, thank you for your inspiration. I didn't know what to think about this whole pandemic thing. It's very strange, and but it's I actually did a pandemic sketchbook. I'm finished with it, and a lot of the drawings turned into paintings of healthcare workers, and that was kind of what I showed at the AMP concert contest that just happened. And I showed all my healthcare workers, and they had a series of people just wearing masks, like somebody kissing each other. I called it the pandemic kiss, where they're kissing with masks on. And I mean, it's kind of going to be a new norm that's approaching us. I honestly try not to watch too much news, but this was created in the morning listening to news in the background. So there you have it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I love. Oh, sorry. Go for it. Connie, you were going to say something? No? Okay. Was someone else going to say something? Cena.
I just said it was awesome.
Yes.
It's very reminiscent of well, it makes me think of the caterpillar when he's on the mushroom. We have that coronavirus, like Dia de los Muertos Calavera, like up in the center.
Oh.
It makes me think of like when the caterpillar is going, "Who are you?" coming out of that center.
You're giving me
Mushroom.
ideas for my next drawings.
Very
That's awesome.
cool. And like all the little characters down there. I mean, my favorite part is well, I'll say something else. Right here where you have this this Jesuit, I mean, I don't know if that's a Christ figure or something, but
Kind of a religious figure.
no, it's Mary, right? Or a nun. Some
Maybe.
religious, yeah, right. So right beneath that, I like now how you have this iconic little voodoo doll of the priest there inside, and then there's another doll on the foot. That is very reminiscent of when Kali, well, it's actually Parvati, but Parvati is with Ganesha, and Shiva comes in and he cuts off Ganesha's head. He cuts off her son's head, and he replaces the head with the head of an elephant. She's so angry. She's so angry that she metamorphs into Kali, like she's really livid. So she switches the face of the goddess, and so Kali is like running around, just she's Parvati, who is this faithful, loyal wife. Her husband cuts off her son's head. He's like, "Oh, hold on, honey. Let me just get this elephant," cuts the elephant's head off, puts it back on the body, the decapitated body of the son. And then we have the god Ganesha, which is that elephant, it's an elephant-headed god. Maybe you've seen him.
I love the Hindu gods, yeah.
Yeah, and for the Hindu, yeah, and so there's an iconic image where Kali is standing with this foot on top of Shiva, on top of his body. If I were a little bit more astute, I would, pull up an image of it and send it over. But in goddess etiology, it's that definitely reminded me of that. And then it's so funny because then in Scrooge, Scrooge has with the ghost of is it Christmas past? But when he opens his cloak, there's the two little twins in there, and it kind of looks like this religious figure has opened her cloak, stepped on one, and then left the other one standing, inside her lower cloak. But it's very cool, and I like how it also is reminiscent of Uazit, like the serpentine goddess there, because the left cloak looks like a serpent with 6 heads, like they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little of these coronavirus kind of embodiments into the religious figure. And then that in turn is nostalgic of, it looks like it's a lower body mermaid tail of the Caldavera, like Dia de los Muertos icon right above that. And then, of course, what looks like bat wings at the lower body skirt, that's what, when I pull back, is made me think of the mushroom, because the caterpillar is seated right there in the center of the mushroom, except instead of a hookah, there's this sickle, It's very cool. It's so good. I would love to do like a art critique on this. So amazing.
I love all your thoughts on it. I when I draw, I think in paint, I think of beauty, but then I also, I go to yin and yang, where you get the opposite of beauty into something that is more pulls at you, more striking. I really like the Hindu god aspect that you said in the mushroom from Alice in Wonderland, the hookah caterpillar rather. But one of the things that I taught for many years, like 4 or 5 years, was a class called Supernatural Art, and we would always make different supernatural art, and doing those Hindu gods was part of that, and it was always my favorite. And Shiva is amazing, and it's hard for me to believe that they put the god of destruction in front of CERN. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, and I really like the fact that you talked about frequencies when you were first talking to everybody, and 432 and 528 hertz is my bag. I meditate every day for about 8 years. Every morning I get up about 4 and listen to these different frequencies and deep breathe for about an hour and a half before I get out of bed at 5:30, and then I'm up to walk and draw and get my day started. But I honestly think when you start your day that way, I honestly think it's really great that you guys fed into as part of this Arts Hub ceremony, ending with the kind of a vibration lift. I honestly thought that was really cool, and I felt like I was in the right place being here. And I want to thank you guys for making this available, because it was fun and inspirational for sure. Thank you guys.
Yeah, such a great piece. Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and shout out to Tina for that was her brainchild to kind of end each day with.
Yeah. Thanks, Tina. It'd be nice to stay in touch with some of you folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be great. That's kind of part of my medicine. I have to do that, because I have PTSD. So like I gotta tune in my frequencies frequently.
Yeah.
Just for my own sanity. So yeah.
Mine is kind of ADHD, kind of hyper.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to quiet it down,
Yeah. And also I like, how the head's opening up. I'm trying to think of the exact piece. There's like is it Miro? Is it Juan Miro? But there's a piece where the head is opening, but that reminded me of Escher, like an Escher piece. So yeah, I really like that piece.
Thanks. The watercolor pencils are a lot of fun. It really makes the drawings pop. Before I
Mhm.
discovered that, all my drawings were somewhat gray all the time, and I really like using the washes and making them pop. So that's kind of
Yeah.
my comfort zone is these pencils are. But they have to be rich colored watercolor pencils. They can't be the cheapos because they don't do anything. But I usually go to like Artesanos and get these just black watercolor pencils. And I taught a class for a couple of semesters called the painted drawing, where students were using these great watercolor pencils, and their creations were almost instant because when you do a little sketching and you add a little bit of water, it's just like magic. You can almost sculpt your drawing. Really, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for the good criticism.
Does everybody go to Artisans right there on Monte Vista?
For special things, I usually order from Blick myself.
Okay.
Or Michael's is my Jones too, because they always have great canvas sales. I like to find Michael's where you can buy one canvas and get two for free. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's so crazy they do that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay.
Does anyone else go to Artisans?
I do. I don't. Yeah.
Have you had a normal experience in there?
What?
Do you have a normal experience when you go there?
I think so. I
Okay.
mean, I'm pretty at home there. I usually
Okay.
just wander around on my own.
Yeah.
What's your experience usually like there, Sina?
I feel like I always fall into a vortex in there. Like I go in there, and if I walk to the back aisle, I just feel like it's 3 hours and I'm still in that store. I'm serious.
Time just kind of disappears for you.
Yeah, I'm just like in the middle of like the watercolors. I'm like, what happened? I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just wondering if that happened to anyone else.
I used to go to the Artisans on Canyon Road in Santa Fe because I lived there 25 years, and I remember the original owners, two gentlemen that were really awesome. They're not around anymore, but since I moved out of Santa Fe, I guess they moved from Canyon Road, but I've seen pictures of that store, and it almost looks like a mega artisan store. You know, the one in Albuquerque here is kind of small, but I guess the one in Santa Fe now is huge. But
yeah, I grew up over there because Chris Calloway was my voice teacher, and she I lived right up the block. Oh yeah, I loved her. She was my voice teacher.
I loved when she did her Billie Holiday show when she was the spirit of Billie Holiday, and saw her at the Center of Contemporary Arts doing a one-woman act and performing as Billie Holiday, where she basically pretended to drink herself into a stupor by the end of the
She wasn't pretending. She was not pretending. That was not. Don't say that. She would be so upset. She was like a bona fide alcoholic.
I didn't know that.
She was not pretending. She would drink herself into a stupor.
I know a lot of musicians that play piano for her.
7, and I would go backstage. She's like, this is the best gig ever. I go on stage, I get drunk, I sing songs. What do you want?
Yeah. So she was actually. No wonder she disappeared for a few minutes and come back. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. So funny. God, I love her.
Well, that's our very last piece for the entire week. It's cool that it inspired such a rich conversation around the art and around creating art and where to find tools to create art. And so we, because this was the last day, we don't really have anything to like a springboard activity for creativity. But I just wanted to kind of say that I really appreciate everyone who participated at all throughout this week, whether you did one thing or whether you've been here for the Zooms the entire time, making a bunch of stuff. I think it's really important that we remember that creativity is part of who we are as humanity, and that we that creating art is not only something for others, but it's also something for us. And it's one of those magical things that does something for both the creator and the receiver. And so it's really, really exciting to see all this art happening. If you're watching this video and you've been watching throughout and you haven't created anything, we hope that it inspires you to create, or at least inspires ideas, because we know that creating right now isn't always the easiest thing, because then that's one thing I don't think we've done enough right now, is acknowledge that we're not in a normal time, and that's okay. Whatever you want to do right now, however you want to create, whether it's ideas, whether it's putting stuff to paper, whether it's painting, whether it's performance, or whether it's feeling like your creativity needs to wait for another day. That's all valid, and we hope that what happened throughout this week was really inspiring. So we want to thank Gigi, Sina, all the artists who lent their art for inspiration, all the artists who created art from the inspiration, all the folks that Sina brought in to help us with the creative springboards. I think, yeah, that was a really nice touch that really did. It springboarded us in some creativity and fun. And we hope that you keep on creating. And just to call, if anyone creates something at any stage, feel free to post it in the Facebook group, and feel free to just share what you create and make those connections, because right now is a time it's really hard to connect in a way that we're used to. So finding art can help you connect in ways that are really meaningful, even if you don't get to see people in person. So keep on creating, keep on posting, and just thank you all so much for participating. It's been a magical week. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This was so fun. And I didn't know how to join the Facebook group, but can you send it to me? Because I wrote a song and a rap from Gigi's poem, and I'll share it in there.
Yes, no, absolutely. We'd love
Yeah, I wrote it with Randy Sanchez from Nosotros. We wrote it yesterday. No, we didn't see each other, but we wrote it on FaceTime. So it's cool.
Wow. Yeah, I'll send you a Facebook Messenger with a link to the group.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool. I'm excited to see that too.
When do you think you'll do this all the time, or will we start doing this kind of thing in real life?
I don't know yet. I don't know that this is the last time that something like this will happen. So because it's been a lot of fun just to see what folks have created. So yeah, hopefully, if we get to a point where we can do it in person, that'd be really awesome. If we have to keep self-isolating, I think something like this, whether it's this or some variation, would absolutely be something to keep doing. Oh, see, Becky's inspired too. Gigi's cat.
Where's the silencer?
Silencer?
Do you want me to silence you? There, you're muted.
Oh no. No, that's just taking my wig.
Get what you asked for. There's no feedback today, so I didn't have to go muting people.
He started having kitty dreams while y'all were talking.
Oh.
I think he's creating as well.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Thanks everyone who jumped on every single day, and thanks to those who made art remotely, as it were, and shared it with us. Josh, do you have anything else you want to say?
Nope. I think you said it all. Thanks everybody. That was super fun.
Yeah, and please check out Arts Hub and Arts Hub's community forums. Check out each other's pages and work if you have your own page or any information, or you just feel free to post in the community forums, because I know I've enjoyed checking out everyone's stuff. And buy art from folks, if you have the means, buy art from folks who have shared their art this week. That'd be one way to say thank you for creating. So, awesome. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this challenge.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you for
guys.
doing this.